Alright, so we'll call the meeting to order for the July 7th, 2025, the Enosburgh Town Selectboard. Any changes to the agenda? Any changes?
The one I notated at the bottom.
Yep. So,
Actually, we probably turn those ACs off.
I would just like to add maybe a quick discussion on the police department stuff, if we could. And to appoint Vaughn Como for tax sale attorney.
Will these get posted on the website?
I'll make a motion to add those two items to the agenda.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to add the police department discussion and the appoint Vaughn Como for tax sale to the agenda. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Nay? Very good. Alright. Anyone for public comment? Not seeing it, huh? Okay. No one here for public comment. Garrett is out.
Is he second?
Or
No, he went on an ambulance
Oh,
call as we were
on a
leaving.
call.
I mean, Darren and I were getting here and they were.
Something probably to do with the storm.
Yeah,
Is Abby coming in or is she?
she's in Sheldon, but she's gonna head this way.
Alright.
And Jessica said Joey was checking her.
Alright. Do we want to jump up to Jesse? Do we want to do the zoning administrator paving prices?
Might as well.
So, just a quick update, so building wise, we're just about done with everything finally. Mini splits, just a couple more in here, to have these done at the end of the week, so that's all done. Piping project out here is all done, the new sewer line is all done, that's all. We hit some snags in that, the pipe now is, it was kind of a weird thing, we started opening it up and all that pipe was all backfilled in sand, not in stones. I think that we found the culprit of why it was waving, because there's so much moisture and water underneath that pipe, so. Had a little bit of snafus, had to call Dean on a couple things, we ran some 4-inch tile, or 4-inch perforated, SDR down alongside of it to keep the water out of it. The conduit the old conduit was right on top of the pipe, so there was no saving anything. Needed to come out anyway because the conduit was spliced down through there. There was water in it when Gary's pulling it out of there. The water was coming right out of the conduit. So we cut it up here at the building, ran all new conduit, ran all new wire, ran all new pipe, everything. We started started on a Thursday and we were done by Monday. We were done, so that's all done, pumps hooked back up, everything's good. Everything got pumped out and cleaned out, so those are all good there and cleaned. Like I said, mini splits are done. Mini splits are done at the library, those are on. The ones in the living quarters here are on for the ambulance staff, and in the offices, those are on. ADA doors in at the library, that was all hooked up. That's how come these mini splits aren't on, because like I said, the electrician's been ping ponging back and forth between a bunch of different jobs, so. So kind of all our phases are done. Next step is the paving of out here. I've got quotes. I guess the question is, there's 2 roads that we kind of, 3 roads kind of for paving. I talked to Joey just barely about it, and Joey kind of agreed too. The paving is pretty bad out there. The pavement's bad out there. In an ideal world, I think we should rip out and start new. Just because, especially over here by the ambulance, the grade is all off out there. I think it would be nice to change, obviously fix that grade, but also where those two little green strips come out, cut those off, make it all a nice straight shot, so when Joey comes up here and plows, everything can plow straight, cause right now he's kinda gotta come in, go around the green and go, you know, this way and that way. So the problem is so I got Hungerford's paving, I got, Hungerford, Pikes, Keith Wright, I'm waiting to hear back, he's just been super busy, it's JNS now, it used to be Bushy, they changed their names, I'm waiting to hear back from him. The problem is not everybody's got the capabilities of, you know, Heath Wright can come up here and take all the old pavement out and repave, but not, you know, Pike doesn't wanna do that, so the quotes are kind of inconsistent, some can do some things and some can do, you know, others, so my thought was, and again, and this is up to your, you know, your decisions, is, you know, we could go out, ask for bids on somebody, you know, a Scott, you, Gary, whoever you want to rip it out of here, and then go back to these guys and say, hey, listen, we want, it's all gonna be graded, it's all gonna be ready to go, you know, 2-inch base, 1.5-inch top coat, quote it out that way. I've got these quotes, you guys can look, like Hungerford, they did one quote with grinding it and then putting asphalt over the top. See, the trouble you're running is if we go and shim and overlays all these doorways, you go to put, and you're gonna be doorway, asphalt, L, you know, they're gonna have to grind it, but you gotta, it's best if you could really remove it. So Hungerford, they have grind and resurface, and then they have the shim and overlay. Wrights had excavate and remove, and then they have a 2-inch base and a 2-inch top, and then they have a shim and overlay quote. And then Pike was just a shim and overlay, so. Again, like I said, it's your call if you wanna go with just a simple shim and overlay. Like I said, Joey, I kinda just asked Joey a second ago, and Joey agreed, he said, I'd like to see it taken out, but again, it's gonna be a hell of a lot more money. So that first one, like I said, that's grinding. This $82,000 one from Hungerford is grinding it, and then a new coat over the top, and then their next one is a shim and overlay for $67,000. And then Wrights, like I said, they have two options there, shim and overlay at $83,000, and then removal of everything is $158,000 and change.
So Hungerford's is either or
Basically, I had them, the removal, he can cold plane it, which is grinding it up, is what he can do. And then he did, cause I asked everybody, I said either shim and overlay, grind or removal or something, and like I said, not everybody has the capability to take it all completely out, so. Yeah, and then the last one is Pike, is just a shim and overlay. I was kinda surprised Pike threw their name in the hat, but the guy had said he was just like a thank you for, we've done business with him over the years, he said, so. And like I said, I'm still waiting on one quote, the guy just been, the guy who does Bushy, or JNS, I guess it is now, so. But like I said, I can go the other route and have some excavator guys, see what it would cost to take it out, and then have these guys rebid it at, you know, just straight pavement, and then it's more consistent that way.
Wouldn't their paving prices be similar to what they already have here?
Yeah, I mean, right, it would be, right, you would, you could, get pretty dangerously close, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, a couple of them are pretty close,
Yeah.
769.
Is there a,
That's something we can have Joey rip out. Or is it-
Yeah, I mean, we'd ask Joey too, I don't know what Joey's schedule
I don't know
is,
what-
yeah,
Right.
I mean, that'd be on the town's dime
right.
through them. I don't know what their time schedule is, but he's quote basically $70,000 to remove it.
To remove it, right.
Are you talking about removing it all from the highway up around?
It's pretty broke up everywhere, it's like really broke up.
It's not gonna come up hard.
Yeah.
No,
No, when Gary did this out here, it was pretty easy,
It's pretty
so,
brutal.
yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
really
it's-
old too.
it's more hauling it off and,
The only thing we've ever done since I've been here is to top coat it. Spray it or whatever it's called, you know, when you put the sealer on.
Mhm.
Since I've started, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, like I said, the grade isn't bad out here, this isn't all too bad out
That's like
here.
a soup bowl out there.
That over there is the mess on that side, is where, like he said, it goes.
Yeah.
And we kept, so when they did the sidewalk up here, I came up and the engineer, they were talking about raising it, they wanted to know where we wanted the finished grade of the sidewalk to figure out to coincide, but I told them to keep it the way it is and keep it lower, so the water still can shed off, so we don't have sidewalk, or a pavement sidewalk and, you know, water, you
Right.
know, so that's why that looks so much lower, just so that everything could still, nothing was gonna hold up and dam and freeze and make a mess, so. And we just have to figure out what our finished height was gonna be, if we were gonna shim it all the way, we're gonna tear out, like what we were gonna do, so. Yeah, so
can it be just hauled and dumped?
Gary brought it to Leach's.
But it could be, if we had some at our place and we sent a dump truck over or two,
Right.
but we do have a little project going on, or a tool shed there,
Makes a nice base.
yeah, we're
Makes a really
trying
nice
to,
base.
trying to make a bigger parking area.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is hauling it off.
Right.
Ain't gonna peel up easy, but you gotta keep the trucks moving.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the pavement's gonna be a little bit of orchestration too about, so we ended up putting an outlet on the outside of, the ambulance site, cause they gotta have them all plugged in. So the day when they do eventually pave by the doors, you know, like Heath had said, I don't wanna do a seam, if we're gonna do a seam, I wanna try to do as least amount of seams as possible, so pull all the equipment out, park it somewhere, and then have them pave. You know, Mark wasn't worried about, these are all plugged in, but he wasn't worried about keeping them plugged in, but we need to figure out, park those somewhere, park the ambulances on the side, so we can still plug them in, so it's a little bit of
Yeah,
orchestration there too when we do it. I mean, you're gonna have to have a seam somewhere, so if you had to have a seam on the ambulance side, sure, you know, but yeah, so we put an outlet outside so those guys can stay plugged in and still, because there's some pumps and stuff here, so
you
they have
kinda
to
need
stay
to
in.
line up whoever's gonna pave before you rip it out, because you don't want it 3 months old.
Right, yeah, have a
Dirt.
mess, yeah.
Yeah, every time it rains, it's gonna turn into muck.
Yeah,
That's like every day.
it doesn't rain just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, when Joey comes, if we ask Joey, and I'm happy to go and kick the
And
tires
you
on
gotta
some.
have Gary give a quote too, you know?
Yeah, I can go ask all those guys and have it re-quoted out and, yeah, if you wanna go that way, we're leaning that way.
I think, I mean, the other way is grind it up, but you know, if you're not gonna be putting it, how's that gonna really help a lot? It's kinda, probably not thick in some places.
It's pretty.
Missing in a lot of places.
Yeah, it's missing, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Plus
Yeah.
that heavy equipment in front of the doors, you want.
You can see all
Yes.
that, and exactly, next one there, if you look out here when you walk by the fire, it's all, yeah.
Yep.
So,
You also wonder a little bit about the base, if, what condition the base is in, especially what you found with the, digging the sewer up.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, because it was crap and sand,
Yeah.
not what it should have been.
Yeah, well, that's, you might have to haul some stuff in.
Yeah.
Tell you right, thing would be tear it up,
Yep, that's what it should be.
fix whatever needs fixing.
Maybe we'll last another
Wow,
30
that's
years or
30
something.
years, eh?
Yeah.
That'll be somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, the other
we wanna do it right.
We want the yard still here, the building may be gone, but the yard will still be here. 100 years from now.
Oh, and the other thing too, I'm sure you guys saw the hole that's still out here on the side here too. He just left it open because, so we ran that 4-inch along with the sewer pipe. We're gonna run a little tile out back is what we're gonna do.
It's super wet, and the
Yeah.
Jeff Lawyer mentioned, he's mentioned a couple of times, that it's really wet and he can't mow out there every time. But we've all felt it, like when we were looking for the helicopter landing pad in the dog park. It's just never gonna improve unless something goes in out there.
Kinda.
Well, I mean, you cut off the water hole in the parking lot too, so.
Mhm.
Yeah. Gonna go talk with the doctor's office too, cause that ditch is there, just clean that upper ditch out too and see, you know, that may help divert some of that water, so. Yeah. Yeah, so.
Did any of these guys say how soon, or if it's a fall project, or,
When
yeah?
I didn't have everybody, I've had, like, Heath came boom right off. Everybody
really?
said, yeah, Heath was right off. He said,
Wow.
yeah, he said they could do it. It was just the coordination of making sure that we could park everybody.
We have to make sure to remember about the touch a truck in August.
Yeah, the 9th, yeah. Yeah, they're doing, the library's doing that, so.
So you wonder, yeah, probably if Joey isn't interested in doing it, doesn't have time or whatever, then we probably ought to get the bids on it, I would assume.
Yeah, we can ask him, and then if we don't, I'll call tomorrow right off.
Yeah. Okay. You got anything else, Jesse?
I think that's.
The MERP stuff, that's all going fine?
Oh, did you wanna tell him about the tank?
Oh, yeah, so the boiler, so yeah, that was one other thing that we've been having to deal with, so got these new boilers in here. So the insurance carrier came last week, he does an inspection on all the boilers. So I came out, met with him, and he took a look at everything, and for whatever reason, he's not happy with the blow-off valves on top of the boilers. They're 50 PSI blow-offs, that's what the manufacturer sent, that's what John's Mercy installed, all this stuff, and he's like, these don't need to be 50s, these need to be 30s. I'm like, okay, and he's like, oh, it's a quick fix. So I called John goes, I didn't make that call. He said the manufacturer wants a 50 PSI blow-off valve on it. Or an,
Out here?
yeah, or an ASME pressure tank, which is a heavy-duty pressurized pressure tank. We've got one of them little small expansion tanks in there. And he goes, or one of those. Well, when I called John's like, I'm not just changing, the manufacturer sent a 50 PSI blow-off valves, whatever. Insurance is like, no, you need to change it. Well, one of these expansion tanks is like $2,400 to go that route. So I'm trying to work with the grant people to see if push comes to shove, if the insurance people won't budge, if the grant people will cover the expansion tank. But we're trying to, I talked to John a little bit today, the manufacturer is willing to write a letter and to send it to the insurance company. And I'm also gonna call the state, cause he goes through the fire marshal's office and what her recommendation is, because nobody's doing anything wrong here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we fought with them all afternoon with all that whole thing that they want. They're all hung up on this 30 PSI blow-off valve instead of a 50 PSI blow-off valve.
So they wanted to blow off all the time then?
Sure, right, well, John said that, John goes, I'm not comfortable leaving that, he goes, you're gonna be calling me all the, no, that's what they want on there, that's what it is, and then the other problem is, we don't have a ton of room in that build, cause you gotta have 30 inches off from where the panel is in front, open, and that tank's 4 foot. Like, there's room up there in the rafter, we can, on the wall, we can mount it, but nobody wants to do, so we're fighting with them right now.
It sounds a little ridiculous if that's the way the manufacturer sent it.
Well, yeah,
That's the way it ought to
they
be.
should,
Yeah.
they've got it spec through them for a reason, I mean, and they must have done their own test.
He goes to all the buildings, everything, these are the newest boilers, and this is the one he's got a problem with. And I'm like, everything, not that anything's bad with the other ones, but I mean,
Yeah.
the one at the Opera House is 35 years old, like, this one's 35 minutes old, like.
Yeah,
So we're working on that right now.
I move that we go into executive session.
He doesn't need executive.
No, but time.
huh? For what?
7:30. I mean 6:30.
He's not coming in. He just got his letter, right?
Do you still want to?
I think we should.
Okay. It's your call, and you can explain it executive.
Yeah.
Is that it for Jesse?
You're all set.
That's it, that's, yeah.
We should do Garrett while he's here. Sure.
Can you, Garrett, is yours very long?
No, I'm pretty short.
It's on mine. It's more timing.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it, yeah. So that's a motion?
Yeah. I'll make the motion.
You made a motion to go in executive, is that what you said? For personnel?
For personnel.
It's been moved to go into executive for personnel issues. Is there a second?
I guess I'll second
Been moved and seconded to go into executive session for personnel issues. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? We are in executive at 6:29.
Executive, I'll make a motion to accept, discussion for executive session.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept discussions during executive. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? We're good. Alright.
So for tonight's agenda, just a few things to go over with you guys. The service updates, our side of the station renovation is 95% complete. The last thing we're waiting on is just the mini split that's in the crew room, and then everything is done with us. All the furniture's been put back in. Thank you to the crews and everybody for their patience with us. Everything looks wonderful. Crews are very happy with everything that's been updated and inputted. The station looks wonderful right now. So we're just waiting on that mini split and we are completely done. We received a donation, anonymous, of $1,500 that was graciously donated to us and allowed us to purchase updated appliances, including a stove and a refrigerator that were both 35 years old. I'll give them credit, they held up this long. But our crews are very appreciative, and the service is very appreciative of the donation we received from the individual.
You did stove and what?
Refrigerator.
They don't make them like they used to.
No. Actually, Joe took our fridge.
That was more than his.
Hit me down.
It lasted another 3 years. The state EMS office came here 2 weeks ago, and we were due for inspection of our ambulances. They came and did our Unit 3 and Unit 1, both passed with no issues whatsoever. They were very happy. So both ambulances are inspected for the next 2 years. They will have to come back when we get the new ambulance back at the end of this month to finish that inspection. And then we'll be good with the state for another 2 years. Robert called me and gave me an update on Unit 3, and he spoke with somebody down at Northeastern, and the expected delivery of the refurbished Braun is at the end of this month. So last week of July, he said we should absolutely have that ambulance operational and ready to go. So once it gets here, then we move all of our equipment back into it, transfer the DMV plates, and then I'll apply for the state licensure and the light system once everything's good to go.
Can we start the process of transferring, as long as you get them in?
Yeah, as long as we have a VIN, I think we can. Let's see if he can send us a photo or something. Because yeah, once that shows up, then we can run the
Did
DMV.
you bring it the old truck, or is it still down there?
No, I think we're gonna talk about it here.
Item number 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then subscriptions, I have all the towns, brand list, that's in our coverage area, so my team this week is tackling sending out roughly 7,000 subscriptions. So thank you everybody for their patience on the subscriptions. Now that I have them all, BJ did us a huge favor and printed out a lot of
How many did you say?
subscription forms. Roughly 7,000.
It was a year where sometimes we just do what was done the previous year when people did the subscriptions. This is a year where we just took the grand list from the towns that we contract with, plus our own, and send it to everybody on the grand list.
Okay.
See if we get some new people.
Back in the coverage area. So that'll be coming out this week. The fire department brought me their AED, so they keep one AED on their rescue truck, as they should have one. Every fire department should have an AED on their rescue truck. It is an outdated AED. The FDA actually does not approve the AED that they carry anymore. You can still put refurbished batteries into it, which is what we did last year, but truthfully, they should have a new AED that's FDA approved if an incident ever occurred. So Sam researched some AEDs. We got a quote from 3 different companies that we've used in the past. The AED Superstore was the best quote we could find for a brand new AED. They were charging us $1,616.80 for one AED to include the case, pads, training packet, everything included. The Life Assist, who we've purchased in the past, they were more expensive. They were $2,921 for an AED unit. And then I also requested Zoll. I spoke with the Zoll rep, and sending them our old units and them sending us refurbished units, not new. They were roughly $2,000 a piece.
So they're more expensive than the northern one.
Yeah, and that was for refurbished. So the AED Superstore quoted us brand new. So this is something, it can come out of my budget, I'm okay with that. But they should have an AED absolutely on their rescue truck. God forbid something happens. Every fire department should have at least one AED on their service. I did quote for 2 because our AED as well is outdated. We have the same model they do. We have an additional cardiac monitor that we staff on the 3rd ambulance when it's here. So that would be something more for us to use at events if a single crew member goes to cover an event, like a high school sports game or something. Then that's something they can take with them, but it's not an absolute must for us. It's more of, if we have it, great. If we don't, we don't. But the fire department for sure is something that they should have.
Are these like a year warranty?
And how long do they last typically?
These old ones.
Or any of them actually? What's their life expectancy?
That's a good question. I've seen Zoll's last 10 years. So like the ones we have, they're well over 10 years old. The problem with those is the batteries are the thing that goes on those. Granted, batteries, you have a 1-year warranty on them. They can last you 10 years, they can last you 2 years. That's the question.
Where else should those be? Or like, does the school have one?
The school has them.
But
And
not
Hull
like,
Hall
what about
has
the town offices or?
I think maybe the library should have them.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. There's actually something you can work towards called a Heart Saver community, where it's a certain number of
Yeah, you had.
services in the area are, we call it Heart Saver, where like Shelburne just got theirs, their Heart Saver community, based on the number of people that are trained in CPR, available AEDs,
Yeah.
that type of stuff. But
So
yeah,
maybe we should get 3?
so you guys,
While you're on that subject, I was thinking of getting one for over the garage, to have at least one,
Yeah.
maybe at the garage or in one of the trucks.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Oh, we got one for, well, here. We got one for the armory.
We don't have one at the moment, but that would be a good idea. There's gonna be a lot of people there.
Nice, that's 5.
We went from 3 to 5.
One-
Really?
Math is mathing tonight.
Maybe 4
Yeah.
would be a good.
Well, no,
So 1 is for fire,
you go fire,
2 for Joey,
Joey,
3 for armory,
armory, library,
4.
and then,
Well,
I'm not a big push on us, it's more of one of those things, like if.
Well, the armory one can wait a few months anyway till budget season. But
get
I'm
4.
not sure, so do you have to have training in order to have one of those? Because I don't know that the librarians have had any
You
training.
should, so you should train, every 2 years you should retrain and get your
Because
CPR
they've been
certification.
trained. You guys all get that.
Yeah, as long as you have your.
but somebody can
You'll
access
Yeah, but we
these,
can, yeah, but
right?
we can
get
offer,
them ordered.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we
Right.
can get them
Right.
ordered,
Right.
get them here, and then get them trained.
I mean,
And
for
maybe that's
emergency.
something,
Yeah.
he could
Yeah.
ask a trainer to do something 1 or 2 nights at the library, maybe they could host.
Yeah.
CPR.
Is there any grants for any of these, especially if we're getting?
Not that I've seen right now, but we can look.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we can look.
Okay,
So how many did 4?
do 4,
Do you need a motion on that, Dean?
I'll move.
Yeah. It's been moved to get 4 of the AEDs.
Actually, it might be a bigger discount with that too.
You're talking the ones from the superstore,
Yeah,
I would say.
because they gave us an $808 discount for the 2.
I'll second.
Jessica seconded.
Well, for the heck of it. You guys got one in the office down there? You do? Okay.
We have one in the office, every department has one, and most of our trucks have them.
Oh, wow.
We did a big push, I wanna say 2 years ago. And we got trained. The crew gets trained, I think, every year, and then the office staff is every other year. Terry Tatro comes in and does all of our trainings for us.
Any discussion on the purchase of the 4 AEDs? So my discussion, where's this coming out of? Is it all,
Well, I would think the
Sure,
other
we
departments
have to
could
do
reimburse if you can all order them from one.
Order them from one, but then take them out of the departments.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
alright. See no discussion, all those in favor of purchasing 4 AEDs, say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? Passed.
The 2017 chassis, so they're looking to have that removed as soon as possible from Elkhart, Indiana. We're going to.
Did you have, okay,
He was interested in the back deal, so.
yeah, I was just down there, but it's totally on the other end of the state that where I was traveling, so it was gonna be like a 6 hour
Oh,
out of my way, 3 and 3. It's almost like flying to Detroit. I didn't realize it was that close to
Yeah,
the border there,
yeah, it's up on the north end.
or we can talk about auction sites out there too, I don't know.
Do they, and do they offer to drive it back for a price or no?
I'm driving back out that way in middle of August, so I need some different bucks with me driving it if we're gonna do that extra, cause
He's itching for a road trip.
my
He
wife
wants to
didn't
go
do
with
a
you, I
lot
can
of
see.
driving, and then it's quite a bit, 1,000 miles out.
I can ask Wayne.
You want to ride out and
Yeah,
drive back?
yeah, he can drive.
'Cause
Forewarn him.
What's that?
Forewarn him, it's not very comfortable,
Oh, he's fine.
but he doesn't care. He does have a DOT package on it.
we're not for sure. Yeah, but it looks like the weekend of the 15th. Are they open on weekends?
Just haven't leave the keys somewhere.
That's what I was thinking too, because I'm like,
If I asked him to, they probably would.
Oh, wow.
because there's a weekend thing, but we might actually, who knows, as we get a little closer to it, but there's a little period here that we're gonna head back out there. And if I had an extra person or two, it can be done, but me and my wife, not gonna do it.
I can ask him.
Seems that's it ends up all the driving on the one person. And
Cause our,
from Elkhart back, it's probably, I don't know, 14 hours.
From Elkhart to here, yeah, I think they did it in,
Because we were 16 where I was going,
yeah. I wanna say they
without
did it
going out of the
14.
way.
but you're staying out there for the weekend though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I could go over to the, cause it's over near Indianapolis, right? And then I would just drop down after. It'd put a little bit more on me going, but I wouldn't have to double back. Because if it was just the two of us, that you're gonna
Yeah.
continue on
I
and
was
go
gonna say,
back.
I don't know how that would work with like hotel.
Oh, coffee. No hotels.
Yeah, you're right, yeah, no problem. I guess maybe we can talk about it more, if other people have an idea. Is middle of
Other than that, it's
too
like
late?
get rid of it out there
Yeah,
because
we're gonna
it's,
bring it back here and get what for it, right?
well, that's the thing, it's gonna cost you a couple $1,000 to get it back.
Yeah,
Whoever's,
true, too.
whoever's going out there and their time and
They weren't willing to buy it at one point, I thought they were.
put some gas.
Not for anything.
Every office.
Couldn't have
Prices
been-
going up. I don't know, it's yours. It's going up. Okay.
To be determined.
Alright,
Okay, just let me know when I find out.
One way or the other, if it's gonna be gotten
Anybody with
through me, you'll know by the 10th of August, cause I should have an idea. Other than that, if we get another avenue, to get rid of it,
Okay,
I think we should pursue
if
that.
they want it out sooner than that, do you guys want me to send a crew to go get it, or?
Yeah, I mean, somebody flew out, just drive it by, you can almost do that one day.
Send two people.
Yeah, you need to share the driving.
so that's gonna cost us a couple $1,000, right? That's what it is,
Salary.
yeah,
That might
plus
Plus
flight,
plane
It
ticket.
might be worth it,
yeah, when we're all said and done.
yeah.
So.
Can it be advertised out there somehow,
I wonder.
or is there an
So,
auction
so
site?
we're looking at a $10,000 rate when we get back here, right?
Once it gets back here, yeah, the farm might pay that for it. It's back here, but I don't know what it looks like right now. I mean, it should be in pretty good shape. It wasn't, it was just 140, 150, was it?
156.
Was it diesel?
Okay, I'll let them know, and if they need it sooner, then I'll coordinate with you guys.
Is there an auction site out around there that could give us a quote on what they might?
We can Google it.
Carvana, they buy cars.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe less than two.
Yeah, because we're advertising around here, and if it's advertised out there, somebody might nearby might say, hey, you know what, that's a good deal for me. But here it's gonna be
You
Couple thousand more.
Something that you hear from them.
You don't think Lori would wanna drive it back? The grandkids.
I mean, that's the thing is for a farmer or other people, it's already stripped down, you can build back whatever you want on it. But without being able to see it, you're not gonna get a lot of bids on it. Or, hey, can I take it for a test drive? Yeah, 1,000-mile test drive. Yeah, it's probably 800 from here, I don't know.
Enough,
Yeah, 800.
okay.
Sounds like if we don't do something with it out there, then you guys probably ought to send a crew out and get it
Yeah.
back here.
Probably is the best,
Yeah, it's just gonna be
Yeah.
hard to coordinate.
but it might be soon, you
Yeah.
know, you could probably do it sooner than maybe middle August.
Yeah.
Did you have a couple people that were willing to do it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, when we took it out there, I'll put out an email to everybody if that's what you guys want, I can see if they get interested in. It's willing to do it.
Right.
I'm sure somebody will.
How's our new one getting by?
They're driving it here.
Tow bar.
It's like trying to send 2 people and we'll ship you by. Yeah.
Well, it's because it's at the factory in Elkhart and then it goes to Syracuse to get lettered. So it'll be in Syracuse in the next week or so, be lettered. So it goes there for a few days. Can't
Alright.
probably hear this week, so I'll ask them.
Alright.
You got my number, right?
Yes, I do. That's it. That's all I have for you guys
Thanks,
this month.
Garrett.
Alright, thank you, Garrett.
You got it.
Appreciate it. Alright. Who wants to be next, huh? Joey, you wanna?
Yeah, I mean.
I think I'm after.
You're on the schedule before that.
Yep.
But that was very gallant of you to try to
Yeah.
get everything before the gentleman.
Just an offer. Try to make it quick. No, main thing is just some grant, right? Your contracts to sign. 3 of them. One for grants and aid work for next year, for all 3 of these projects will be something we'll probably have to next year. So it's just like a generic state contract for all.
Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
This, the signature page is the 2nd page.
Okay.
So it's just room for 1 signature. Signature, title, date. And that is the grants and aid for
38.
doing work on segments of road that are hydrologically drained. This is a grant source that we get from thin ditches, stone lining, type of stuff.
You did
This is
tell me
for
that. I just-
fiscal year 26.
I got everybody's.
Yes, I remember.
Did you go over and see if your ditch worked?
Yeah,
Oh, you did?
yeah, they work.
Cause it rained pretty hard. I was in Jeffersonville, I never got the
A
rain.
little bit of settlement there, and they come down off the bank there.
Wrong side.
Oh, good.
Got white out over there?
Yeah.
I don't have anything with me. Can we go get some from Garrett?
I don't know.
Did they still make them now?
Yeah, I signed it on the wrong side.
They probably don't care. You just stand beside it.
Put a cross through and initial it. Or what you do.
I'm sure they've seen worse. Actually, all they do, I think, is put a stamp on it. Probably just go above your name.
Yeah.
Across your head.
Alright. Somebody want to see all this?
I'm good.
Same as last year.
Same as last year. The contracts are all pretty much, other than the page that tells the amount and where the work's gonna happen, that's what we do all the difference. Rest of it's in there. So that's the grants need, and the other one, 2. class 2 roadway, so this is where we applied to prepare and pave another segment of the Curly Road, and all of that. So these are both 200,000 for paving, and for the next one is the structures. This one is
The culvert.
38,000.
38, yeah.
Yeah, 38 something.
The structure is that culvert.
What's that?
The structure is culvert.
Structure is, yeah. Yep, the next one that I got in here is the culvert that's at the intersection of Nichols Road, Curly Road, box culvert.
That right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the very
Didn't
bottom.
have to
This one,
Yep, that's a pretty good size one, huh?
which one is?
Yeah,
turn the page.
8.
Here you go.
Just figure out that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know exactly what.
Like it never existed.
Right.
Yeah, concrete box, 8 foot wide, 4 foot high. With 1 foot buried. Probably gonna have to get an updated hydraulic analysis, which will probably tell us that to bury it 2 feet deep. Cause that's what happened with the Tyler Branch one. This was an old hydraulic study, so they made us get a new one. Newer standards are having you bury them, the bottom 2 feet. And this one is set up for 1 foot, so it'll probably be an 8 by 5. You buy it bigger so that you can bury it.
Yeah. So your excavator reach inside here, or how's that get filled?
Well, you
Hand shovel?
you let Mother Nature take its course. Usually, you put a stone.
Oh yeah, just drop it below
Yeah,
the grade
put a
and
stone,
it fills.
brick wrap on the end up to that grade, and then it'll fill in naturally.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do actually make you fill them with gravel. This one would be a little hard to do. There, so that's the median. So here's the structure, same thing, same type of contract. $200,000.
Both of them.
Yep, the roadway and the structures are both 200,000.
And they're all set up for next year, Joey.
Yeah, they're 2-year contracts, so I didn't even look at the dates on these, but it
Mhm.
should be 2 years from. Yeah, well, maybe they'll actually put the date on when they sign it. That may be when the date starts. No, they got a date here, so end date is December 31st of 27. And the start date was July 1 of 25, so.
Pretty close.
I mean, it's work that you could do this year, but we don't, already got plenty of stuff to do, so. And I really wasn't expecting to get either one of these, to be honest with you, especially the structures. When he said that we were number 29 out of 32 towns, 33 towns,
Wow, pretty far down on that list.
I really didn't think we were gonna get one of those. I mean, I guess a lot of towns don't apply, so. If you don't apply, you don't get it, even if you're in one.
Right.
That's that. Have a driveway permit application for some people on the Corsair Road. They sent a map and everything here if you wanna look at that. It's basically an existing driveway and they're just gonna branch off in the existing driveways. I guess other than making sure that they keep the minimum width of 12 feet or whatever, there's about it, there's no.
There's all that fast.
Do you have?
I haven't heard anything on that.
No.
It was subdivision,
Quitting
well,
and quitting.
pre-existing subdivision.
Yeah.
Georgina.
Oh. Yeah. Are they building a house? Did they say?
I guess, yeah. So technically, I don't even know if I have any say in once it's beyond the right of way.
know, we have the, how long is it long?
Yeah, it's,
750.
Says 200 feet,
Is this Roy's place down
200
there?
feet.
The mobile home down?
It used to be one
yeah, it used to
of
be.
the- when the subdivision was done. There was
Okay,
a-
I was thinking it was
Right.
bigger than that. It says mobile home.
So yeah,
anyway.
what'd you say,
200 feet.
Yeah.
Into existing driveway.
So the
Oh, so
driveway
it's just
goes
extending this
into
one.
the,
There's one,
I
and
thought
this
it
is
was all the
extending
ledges
it.
there or whatever.
Yeah.
I saw that back there.
Yeah. yeah, so the trailer's kind of off here and they're just gonna kind of keep going straight into the back. Used to be no gravel pit actually.
Off the existing
What did you
driveway.
say, Dean?
Yeah.
You said 2? I can't read that number.
So they're not doing anything in the town
750
right away.
feet.
That's all there, so. Other than making sure they keep the
750
minimum width
feet
and have
more
a
or
turnaround at the
no?
end,
Yeah,
I
that's
guess
right,
it's,
so this is 200 feet.
I guess this will go along with their building
Right, when they're
application,
pushing,
yeah,
yeah,
to get,
right.
250 feet.
so it must be if they haven't applied for a building permit, must be they're just gonna get their driveway.
So it's 1,000 foot.
Right, could be getting it in,
Doesn't-
maybe waiting, yeah, depending on the wastewater permit,
Quarter mile?
2050, who knows, yeah. Other delineation or something.
31? 35 homes?
There. Yeah,
So it's the,
No,
notice to
50.
proceed, that one's the one you want.
5,600.
So it should
It's
say.
50
Yeah, 5280.
Yeah.
5280
I
because,
knew we would get together.
yeah, because my high
Yes,
approval,
yes.
stadium there, they
Yeah.
got
The
52.
other
Yeah.
one's the actual permit, like a sign off after they meet the requirements.
So before you wrap that up, where do you see it?
Here you go.
I'll wrap it, yeah.
Have you heard of
Oh.
Yeah. That wasn't their hair choice.
Just that one spot, Joey.
Yep, they should be on one page.
Need a motion for that?
Probably do one
Yeah.
before we sign it.
It's just an extension of the driveway.
What's their last name?
Quinton.
Quinton.
Make a motion to accept extension of the driveway from
And Quinton.
Quinton's.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Door.
Any further discussion for the driveway permit, the extension in the driveway? for Quinton's? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye?
Right.
Alright.
Any opposed?
Larry.
Passes.
While you're running that through, I can just discuss that our new truck is in Colchester, I guess, I haven't actually seen it. You've got it in.
I did get an invoice, excuse me, I didn't get bank prices yet, I have just sent one. I didn't realize it was here. I thought she was preparing this, I didn't realize it had to come in until I really read the email this Friday, Thursday.
Oh, the truck.
So I can pay for it out of the general fund and then just get it. So, how many years were you thinking?
That I don't know.
How many did,
I was actually going to look at the replacement fund too, and see if we want to maybe take some of that, go towards it to get the payment down.
well, so we have the truck, and then we'll have equipment.
Right.
How much is equipment
It's like
approximately?
114. So the truck, cab and chassis is like 170.
And that's without the warranty.
That's without any extended
When
warranty.
you say it's coming?
You said the truck's here.
Oh, it's here.
It was not with us. It's in Colbert.
It's in Colchester at Chapel Place. It's cab and chassis. It's not due to start putting the plow equipment on it till October sometime.
So we're up to about 285 with truck and equipment. But then we're going to buy a warranty.
I would imagine, I mean, I've got some, I don't know if I got them with me or not, I don't think I have them with me, the extended warranty prices that you can get.
We usually
At
like
a later
7,
date, I'm assuming.
up to 7.
Yeah, I think the 7 is the max, yeah. think it's 84 months is the max. And that doesn't cover like everything bumper to bumper, there's quite a list of stuff that it covers and where items it doesn't, like they all work, the same way they all work.
So do you want me to get prices on part of that, all of that, and like 6, 7, 8? Or just 5 and 6? I don't know what you wanna talk about for years. Do you have any plans?
I hadn't really thought that much about it, to be honest with you. I
Me either.
meant to look at the replacement fund to see what was in there, and I don't have it with me.
I don't have a book. Jessica,
That or 5 and 7.
5 and 7?
How long before you need the next truck?
We should be ordering the next truck soon.
That's all I ask.
Yeah. Just so it's, cause it's, to be
almost-
replaced in, 27, so we really,
So usually a year and a half.
yeah,
It has been.
it has been.
Cause this is last
Hasn't been
April, I think we
together.
ordered this one, wasn't it?
July,
July, it was July.
no, wait a minute, July time is when we ordered the equipment. The truck was ordered like in September, October, I forgot when, last fall. So the trucks are kinda coming in fairly quick, like they, almost like it used to be. but
So the one
But
that
you
just
still
came
got,
in
you gotta
is,
still gotta put the rest of the stuff
The
on.
equipment's what's taking the time.
the one that just came in is replacing truck 4?
Yeah.
The next one will replace,
3. Truck 3's at a 17, so a 27, 10-year turnaround. That should go.
I think we should at least look at a 7-year warranty, cause we seem to keep keeping them, what, 7 to 10 years,
Yeah,
you know, it seems
10's
like,
almost too long, I think.
yeah.
I think 8 would be
8 would be a good
a
number.
much better number.
Get the max warranty you can on it, basically, when
Yeah.
that's gone. And
Let's
then
look at
you're,
it.
And like at the end of the 7, evaluate, maybe buy a new book.
Yeah. There's, is there just one truck in the, been paid for now?
I
Payments
think the
on?
grader's the only
I
thing.
think the
Great.
grader is the only one.
The only one
Grader's
with
the only
payments
thing
on.
we paid.
Loader's paid for, trucks are paid for,
Mhm.
Yeah, the loader we played for, right?
we paid that
Replacement.
replacement fund.
Okay.
36, a little over 36,000. 36,000
Without
38.
this year's,
That was the last, yeah.
That's what was left at the
at
end
the
of
end
last
of
year.
24.
That was in the book. That's the balance as of the end of the year was 36,038.70.
That doesn't include what we put in this year.
Right, so we put in another, what is it? How much we put in there? Should remember.
Jesse, can you go up, we're up on the,
Where was it? I'm sure.
there should be a line that says replacement. I don't have my glasses on, sorry.
Sorry.
Blind as a bat. I can get my sunglasses out though and make it more blind.
65, your replacement.
Yeah, 65.
Thank you.
I'm glad I put that on the website.
Yeah, I was like, I think I would go.
How many times I pulled that thing up?
So it's just something to look at, maybe we wanna take some just to ease
Oh.
up there.
Do you have any-
Or
Yeah.
not leave it, or just leave it.
What are your next replacement of anything, besides a big truck? Like, do you have anything like,
No, the truck 3 is the next thing.
but no like chipper or anything in the pit?
No,
I can get some prices and let you know next time.
tandem, another tandem, just like, might just as well rubber stamp this one and
Yeah,
build another one.
Right.
when you call about the price on the warranty, you could say, how long is it taking to get? You know,
Yeah.
because we read in the Chronicle that it's getting worse instead of better.
The trucks are
We-
getting
we
better,
sh- we
but the
share.
equipment may be not getting any better.
Newspaper.
But depends upon how a lot of this, the equipment comes out of Canada.
Right.
Interruption of raw materials maybe.
Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't disrupt our price that we think we're gonna pay for this truck too.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know, on our dairy side, we get the price, and then you got, after that, tariff price. So it's like, this is the price, but oh, don't forget, there might be an add-on.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've noticed fertilizer bills. Doesn't look like much until they bill it out.
Yeah.
Starts adding up. And
Yeah, I should probably check on that too, because that we've settled on a price of what the equipment's gonna cost, but that was before.
We've settled on
us.
prices before and had force majeures.
Force majeure. You can get out of anything with that.
You can with those terms,
Act of God, can't help it.
or an act of Trump.
Same.
Same thing.
See,
Oh no, don't get that confused.
Alright,
so, and then the last thing is just a little update on Bridge 45 down in by the campground. Remember last year we had that, or last fall we had that discussion, and she said we might be expecting something like in April. So I was kinda curious that we hadn't heard nothing yet, so I called the other
Right.
day just to check, and it looks like things have been kinda mucky on the road, so it looks like maybe in August, September sometime that we get some information. They'll probably send a letter with their recommendation and then see what you guys wanna do. If you wanna follow their recommendations or tweak it, then they'll start to design the bridge. So they haven't actually started to design yet, and doing the planning at this point for the right of ways and title searches and that type of stuff. And then they did send that questionnaire as to what we thought we would wanna do, and then they'll send what their recommendations are for the project.
with the price and everything else.
Yeah, it looks like it, like a $3 million, it looks like we probably will end up paying 5%.
$3 million for the
For
dugout bridge?
snowmobile bridge,
Yeah,
joke.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
so yeah, scoping review meeting, they're gonna
5
have
months
in
of the year,
August.
probably used.
And then they'll send their recommendations. Right now, looks like it's gonna be a full bridge replacement, 2-lane. Looks like it probably, if they can close the road, would be like a 5% town share. Which is like the same as it was on East Bakersfield, so it'd be like 170,000. With that, it figures out that they think it's gonna be like a $3.4 million estimate for the bridge.
It's
So we got 5% on
Is
it.
there such a thing as just getting rid of that bridge and just not going that way? I mean, realistically, can we just not go that way?
What's that?
Can we get rid of the bridge and not go that way?
Oh, you could, you could take it out, close the road.
That's so convenient.
So then, first of all, they're either gonna replace the bridge or upgrade that one, and that wouldn't make any sense, I don't think. Stick $1 million into refurbishing that bridge.
I think million or 3 million makes any sense for that little bridge. You must have a bridge that needs it more than that.
Well,
Seemed
yeah,
like a tannery back in the day was only like $1 million.
yeah, I think it was, like,
It was close to 2 though.
Was it?
I think the one by East Bakersfield was like 1.2, 1.3, something.
Yeah. It's crazy that that one costs that much.
Tannery might have been under $1 million, actually.
Yeah.
So we'll look at that and evaluate it when it gets here.
No, what do I
Have
do?
they done
Like redo the whole thing? Like
Yeah.
must be using moving the road and everything?
Now, not so much.
Oh, they know, they know
yeah.
that's seasonal.
You're gonna have to do
Right,
something.
Because
but like
Shorty
the
years
time-
ago
the
deeded
time it
property
is
to the
used.
town to go,
Because
when
they
it,
can't
when
wash
and if there ever was a
they know
new
that
bridge,
everybody
to
can
go straight
make
up
it
instead of
No, do you have a side by side?
the Esker.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that would be part of the, this wouldn't be part of this
Some of that.
project, but
Oh, it's not?
Just take the
no,
regular
that don't,
truck.
that don't
Okay.
count, that don't count.
Go
This is
down
just the
or up
bridge.
it, one.
That would be on us or
You'll
you
never
guys to
want
do
to.
that.
It's like it's
That's
straight up in the air.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot involved
It's
to move
just
that road
used
around.
for what it's
Yeah, I
I
currently
believe.
used.
Yep,
Is there really that,
There's
you
a
can't
lot.
get a camper.
So where do they go now? They go
For what?
They come in from I
What, what's the
I think
distance?
somebody did try to take a camper up or out of there, right?
oh yeah, tractor trailer trucks have been hung in there.
So what's the, I guess what I'm saying is, what's the distance for like they have to go around if they can't go that? Is it like a huge?
No.
No,
I would say you just go down to the corner and it's about the same distance across, so,
3 miles or something.
yeah.
Doesn't seem like that's worth it really.
so being a town bridge, it's on the state's radar that it's in dire need of something, so
Gotcha.
at first they're either gonna suggest doing a refurbish of that existing bridge or put in a new bridge.
Mhm.
Double lane. Okay,
But to put in a single lane bridge today's world wouldn't make any sense either.
no, but if you put double lane, it's you still got the hill to deal with, and
Yep,
Straight up.
How
I
long
mean, you're
is,
still not gonna go through a fire truck or anything like that.
well you could, at this point, if it was.
you might have a turnaround on the other side, drive back out.
To go somewhere, another rule, like
I mean, it's anybody's first choice.
school bus.
Evaluate that one and we get to the
Yeah.
fun, huh?
Yep, that looks like what their recommendation is gonna be of, replacing the bridge, 2 lane. But yeah. Expensive bridge.
Yeah.
Of course, they gotta start all over too, like the tannery, they didn't use the existing abutments, but they dug in behind them,
Yeah,
but left those there for part of the work. But the Ladies Bakersfield, they started all over too, so. It could be just a high estimate. So, just an update, you'll be seeing something, some questions to answer come September, so end of August, first part of September.
thank you, Joey.
Yep.
we brought it up in a meeting.
Yeah.
Go
No, I
ahead. We're just gonna check with you, cause, this yard here needs to get ripped out, more than likely to do the repaving and stuff.
Yep,
But you said you're pretty busy right now, so
yeah,
we were just tossing around if you had any time or not, or we need to bid it out.
yeah, you're gonna rip all the pavement right out, right?
Yeah. I don't know what
I
the
mean, yeah,
time.
we could always do it, but every day we spend down here, and one day we're not doing something on the roads, and then,
Yeah. Ooh,
usually
I mean,
those things show up on the
Gary
road.
could probably average it too, about what amount of hours does something like that entail? A couple days?
Oh, this would be a week period, but
A week.
stripping that blacktop off.
You probably would end up putting more base back into them.
Yeah, I'm just talking, just stripping the blacktop off and loading it up.
So is it something
you're interested in, or you want us to hire it out?
I got plenty to do on the roads.
You can get prices, and then if they're too high, then refer
Right.
back to.
If it comes back crazy, you can just get
Yeah.
quotes and kick the tires and then we can address it from there.
Yep.
I mean, if it's just stripping the blacktop off, that's one thing too, but it always turns into more. It always turns into more.
Into the money pit.
Yeah. So we'll put that out for bids, see what happens.
Okay.
Go from there.
Alright. That's all I had, I guess.
Alright.
Thank you, Joey.
Thanks, Joey.
Yep.
5 minutes to adjourn, alright.
Those ladies are gonna have to.
Sorry.
I have a few first words for you.
The thing,
Emily, you wanna?
I'm Greta, I'm
Oh, I'm
with the
sorry.
Tonight Data Complex, so I came instead.
Yeah. Sorry
Um,
about that.
No worries. Emily's on the agenda. Update with the from here.
we're in the same place.
Yeah, we do. I'm here to talk to you about Act 181 and the changes to regional future land use mapping and how that impacts the town of Enosburgh. We currently have
drafted a new map based on the new legislation. And when put together with all the other counties in the state, it's one uniform map. I will pass out what we have drafted for the town of Enosburgh. On one side is the whole town, and on the other side is just the village area zoomed in. But the different land use areas are consistent across the entire state. So we have a village center, planned growth area. In some towns, there's also village area, but there's no village area in the town of Enosburgh. There's transitional area, enterprise area, rural conservation, rural agricultural forestry, and rural general. So it does look similar to a future land use map that you might see in your town plan. And it does look similar to the future land use map that was, that is in our current regional plan. However, there are some new policy changes related to how the map is used. So those changes specifically relate to the centers and then both the village area and planned growth area. So those are on the Enosburgh map, the dark pink and the light pink areas. So those areas will now be tied to the state designation program. And so right now, I guess I don't have, so if you turn to the village, you can see what your existing designated village center is by the hatched line. So that's what your existing designation is. And when this map is adopted by the new State Land Use Review Board, the designation will be expanded to be the entire dark pink area. And then there will also be a new neighborhood designation in the light pink area. And so the benefits are essentially the neighborhood area receives almost all of the benefits that are afforded to properties in the designated village center. There are state and federal historic tax credits for improvements to income generating properties. There's exemptions from the land gains tax. There's the ability for municipalities to lower the speed limit to 25 on state highways, because obviously on your own highways, you're able to do that already. There is the ability to create special taxing districts. There's priority for state and federal grants for any properties or any projects that you might apply for that are specific to these areas. So lots of great benefits. There's funding, for priority funding for affordable housing projects too in all of the pink and light pink and dark pink areas. So in essence, this change made, historically you had to apply for this designation and then renew it every 5 years. So that process is changing. It's entirely going to be done by the regional future land use map that gets adopted every 8 years. And as the changes that are made also expand the areas that are then able to receive all of those benefits for the designation program. So we're right now working on creating the map. We have the draft map. We're looking at sending a final draft to the State Land Use Review Board in October. And so we're very much in the process right now of collaborating with the municipalities to make sure that that you are aware of what we're proposing, that you are supportive of what we're proposing, and have the opportunity to collaborate with us on what's on the map. So the other piece I want to talk about, the other impact that this map has is related to Act 250 jurisdiction for housing projects. And so all of the pink, light pink and dark pink areas are also now eligible for the Act 250 exemption for housing projects, 50 units or less on 10 acres or less. And so right now, that exemption exists within the red area on the village map. You see the red line, and so that is a temporary exemption that's currently in effect. And so with the passage of this, or the approval of this plan by the State Land Use Review Board and the approval of the municipality, that exemption would be made permanent and would apply to all of the dark pink and light pink areas. So that is something that this board, and possibly in coordination with the village trustees, would need to take action on to opt in. And we will be following up in August or September with a resolution that you will need to pass if you want to opt in to that. It's called Tier 1B. Which is that housing exemption to this area. And so we need to have, when we submit the draft plan to the Land Use Review Board at the beginning of October, we need to know all of the communities that want to opt in to that Act 250 Tier 1B.
But if this only affects the village, you still want the select board to?
Well, because it gets a little complicated with, jurisdiction with the town and the village. But yes, it's right now it's the town's authority because you have one unified plan. And so I think it makes sense for you to collaborate with the village on this decision. But that's something that you and the village need to work out. Officially, the resolution needs to come from the town. You could say that you would like to have the villages, have their own vote or take action on it as well, and then you could, follow up. That would be one way of going about it, is to have them take action before you, and then you could consider that action in your, before you take action on it.
How many units did you say that?
Up to 50.
Up to
50 units on 10 acres or less, is the exemption.
So does the exemption, sorry if you've said this before, but do things still need to go through the DRB? Like as far as?
Yes.
Okay.
So this, I didn't even say that, but this is very much like your town plan map. It's not a regulatory map. It doesn't, it's not a zoning map.
Okay.
And so it does not tie to your local zoning map or any permitting or regulatory authority.
Okay.
The only thing that it does is tie to that jurisdiction of Act 250. So even if you're exempt from Act 250, for any reason, you still have to go through local zoning. Mm-hmm. So you still have to get that local zoning permit. I will note that there's also something called Tier 1A, which is a full exemption for Act 250. Because you have a planned growth area, which is the dark pink, you would technically be eligible to apply for that, but that is separate from the regional plan. That is something the town does on their own. So, and it's a higher bar to meet the standard for that. You have to have certain zoning regulations and other things in place. So just making that note, I don't think that you need to worry about that right now. In the future, if that's something you wanted to look at, it is something you're eligible for because you're a planned growth area. But the regional land use plan is the Tier 1B, and that's all you have to do is opt in by resolution.
When are you saying you wanted that?
So we'll be following up with, a resolution template that you would then adopt, and I don't know exactly when we'll be but it'll be sometime before mid-September. I would hope that we'll have everything out to communities by the end of August. Some communities are going to want us to come to a meeting with that resolution. I think other communities, it will be fine for us to pass that resolution and they're already gonna be up to speed. So that's something we can talk about too, is like whether you feel that you would like us to come and talk to you more about the resolution, or whether, we can just communicate with Billy, Joe, or whoever is the administrator for the agenda. That would be you, right? And just send it. And then you would be able to add it to the agenda and pass it. So that's something we can talk about.
Yeah, just so we can talk to the village before then.
Yep.
So your suggestion is that we go to, the village gets, meets their approval first?
That was just my suggestion. That's as an idea.
You
But
you listen it?
I think this is on our agenda tomorrow.
Tomorrow
Okay.
night, Catherine Dimitrick is gonna be at the village tomorrow night, so they are gonna have a similar conversation, as I'm having with you tonight. And then, so I don't know if you have a joint meeting with them before the end of the summer, but that might be an opportunity to talk with them together, or jointly about it.
What's the transitional area? I know there's a small one on here, but what does that mean? Is it going
Yeah, so
to-
transitional areas are those areas that typically have some audio-oriented development, don't maybe have been locally, have experienced some higher density development, mixed-use development, housing development, so they don't
There's not a
fit
lot on here.
rural areas, they're not a rural area, but yet they don't have sufficient local planning or development that is of a fits smart growth parameters, so it's not yet walkable, it's maybe not dense enough, or,
And what about enterprise?
and then enterprise is industrial areas.
This must be the port zone.
Yeah.
And so the rural
That's the
areas,
name
yeah,
of the
so primarily all of the
Houses are
county is
pretty-
largely ag and forestry. And then there's some areas that we really kind of felt like the rural residential sort of was more dominant in that area. And so that's the tan. And then the conservation is largely uplands, wetlands, river corridors.
Yeah.
So what happens if you
Early-
don't opt in?
early
I guess I
roll
was
up to
confused that I thought
Joey's
it
up here.
wasn't like an option, you know?
Right, if you don't opt in, then you don't get the Act 250 benefit. You still get the state designation program. We would have to sort of take you off the maps if you didn't
Okay,
want to
because that's
receive.
what I was like,
If you
it
didn't
sounds
wanna
like
be
it's still
part of it,
happening.
if you didn't want to be part of the state designation, we'd kind of have to take you off the map. Or out,
Would there be reasons not to opt in? I guess.
for the state designation, there really is
Yeah.
no, I mean, because the state designation program makes benefits available to
Right.
property owners and grant priority. And so if the property owners don't take advantage of those benefits, then it just makes benefits available. So there's really no downside.
Okay.
You don't have to access the benefits.
Right.
If you're just eligible for them in that designated area. And then, you can apply for the grants or not, but if you do, you receive the priority. Yeah. And then the municipality has some, added incentives there as well. So I guess the other piece I'll mention is the housing targets, and I have a handout for that too. No decision points on this, so it won't take long. I'll just, I can essentially just leave it with you. But it is something that will need to be built into your local plan. And so it is just an understanding that need more housing units to be built to satisfy the needs of our communities. It's something that's driving the prices up, the fact that we don't have enough supply. And so, to recognize that and to help, put a number to what we need to build, we've developed, and we were required to do this by state statute, but we were required to divide the regional housing target that was set by the state and the statewide housing needs assessment at the beginning of the calendar year, divide that out to each municipality. And so we did that where municipalities with planned growth areas, which are the larger municipalities with more infrastructure and services, did get a higher target. And so this chart you can see that by 2050, Enosburgh is looking at, and it is a big range, about 409 to 767. So it's just because the modeling shows sort of like a low growth and a high growth model is what you're seeing there, based on how our population grows. It's not a mandate. It's not punitive. There's no, it's a planning tool. But just wanted to communicate that to you, and it is something that's will be required to be built into your municipal plans going forward. We do have, visit if you visit our website, we do have a new website for our regional plan update, and so drafts of our plan chapters will be available there if you're interested in seeing them. We also have an interactive map, so you can go and look at the full region map, and there are surveys on this website. If you go, I encourage you to take the survey or leave a comment if you have any, whether it's on Enosburgh or anywhere in the region. So that's nrpcvt.com, but if you just Google Northwest Regional Planning, that's also easy. And it's front and center on a website to access that, so that I guess that's everything. We will be doing a few more specific outreach events in August. We did just do 8 throughout the month of June. Wrap those up, and so we're going to be digesting that and doing some more drafting, and then doing some additional events in August. So, any comments on the opting in piece or questions?
Yeah, I just think it's pretty difficult for Enosburgh to go to that new homes when this is about the only area that is a growth area, because all around there's land development rights that are sold.
Yeah, the intent is that you would, in the growth areas that, it would be small infill type units, accessory dwelling units, single units converted to duplexes, or, small lots that are able to be subdivided, higher density in those areas. And then certainly, you're still gonna see rural lots also filling that housing target. There's still demand for those rural homes, so.
But the housing, like the grants and the benefits through Act 250 are only limited to the
Correct.
areas. Yeah.
Right. The target is townwide with, targeting the majority to be within that area, but the benefits are just for the designated in the areas.
So if you had a duplex, it'd count as 2.
Yes.
You can do it in
Yeah,
units.
it's each living unit is its own. So, so like a senior housing development of, 20 to 30 units, that's 30 units, even though they're 1 bedroom.
There is a need for that, I know that for sure.
All right, so that's all I have, and we'll be, like I said, we'll be back in touch. The village is getting the same, having the same discussion tomorrow or update tomorrow, and that's it. I know the bylaw project is still.
Yeah, she's been. Well, I was just gonna ask back to that unit infill, like, what is your capacity, like as far as wastewater, like sewer? I know we're talking about like all these, units and adding like,
It changes annually based upon the previous year's flow.
Right.
So it's a fluid number, literally, that's constantly changing. So if we have a high flow year, then we're gonna have less units. If we have a low flow year, then we're gonna have more units available. So it really changes annually.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Larry, there really isn't, like you said.
No, we looked at, I
Sheldon.
think John and I laughed the first
Yeah.
time we looked at the numbers.
Yeah.
It's,
Of what they said
Yeah.
the target for Enosburgh and where you're gonna put them, especially in the village.
My hayfield.
But you like,
Yeah, exactly.
but like you said, it's not a it's just a target,
It's just, it's a planning
Yeah.
tool. I mean, I think that we're all, experiencing the housing crisis in different ways, and the housing crisis, and, there's a lot of things that go into the housing crisis, but one of them is supply. And so I think this is just recognizing that, more housing units can benefit our communities, and thinking about what you can do as a municipality to find space for them.
There's no way to get growth centers pushed outside the village.
There may be other areas in the town that might be eligible for like a village, designated village center, just the core area, and maybe a tiny village area, like if that was an area that you wanted to promote growth, but it has to be anchored by that historic settlement. So like West Enosburgh, I think, is kind of like a historic crossroads. Right now it's just shown as a hamlet, which is just a point feature. But if that was an area that you wanted to sort of plan for some additional concentrated development and to sort of grow that area, it could potentially be eligible for a center designation. And so that's something that you could work with us, if that happened locally at the local level, and there was support for that in the municipal plan, then it's something you could work with us on to add to the map. and I just used West Enosburgh as an example.
Yeah, some of the old
Right.
small centers or whatever.
Yeah,
Has there ever been any discussion with like the Vermont Land Trust? Because they started doing this way back, and it was a little short-sightedness because it kind of blocks Enosburgh in to be able to say, hey, is there a way we can take like this section over here out of a land trust that's going to benefit the housing units in some of these villages and towns around? Because it's the same
Yeah, I
in
mean, this
Enosburgh,
isn't-
West Enosburgh.
Yeah.
There's development rights all around that sold out too, and it's like, okay,
Right, yeah, I think.
take the old building down and make duplexes out
I
of
think
them, and I
that you
mean,
have to work around
that's,
the conservation easements that are there and that those private property owners, chose to enter.
but Vermont Land Trust has never really allowed for something like that to take you out of, it's
They-
not the whole farm, but it
It's
might
very,
be like,
very rare and it would be unique circumstances, I don't see changes made to these easements.
because
It's not
one of the
something that
properties
really
here
happens.
we now own, and it was put in the 70s or 80s, and all the land is in the village, and that should have never happened.
It's your lands?
It is now.
but
We
they
bought it, but
They bought it
the people
conservative.
that owned it is 2 generations
Right.
back, sold all the development rights, but it's all village designation.
I mean,
And that
I
should
think
have
some
been-
easements allow you
No.
to pay a fee to remove it, but I don't know.
Oh, we can't.
No,
Firstly,
sorry,
us
that's
guys-
current use, sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
specifically with current use. The easements are very
No, I know,
structured
because
and
they're easy
strict.
to, if you try to put, well, if you try to subdivide it for like a Sugarwood lot to agricultural, they always want their contribution. It's never dividing it up to, to put a home or something in there.
Yeah, those easements are pretty soundproof, so.
Yeah, I just think there was a lot of short-sightedness way back, and as we go forward another 40, 50 years, Enosburgh's never gonna be able to grow because this is it. You're gonna have to tear down and make everything high rises or something because
And it's getting
that's the
worse.
footprint that you gotta work with.
Because more people
Yeah.
are doing it. They should put a limit on how many acres each town can have in the trust.
Yeah.
Or you will be stuck someday.
I think that's something that the local planning can start with though, in terms of identifying areas that are that should be
Have value.
identified and planned for growth. That not to say that a private property owner can't still put it in
Well, they
easement, but
can't,
at
'cause they
least
don't
that,
have it.
at the
Right.
but at the local level, like identifying those areas ahead of time can help.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
you.
for sure. Have a nice evening.
You too.
And
Trees.
chocolate chip. And you have
They are chocolate chip, they're cowboy cookies, so they have chocolate chips, coconut, pecans.
Get rid of them.
Yeah, rope in the middle.
Right? We're all
Gotta
ready
rope
to
you
get rid
in.
of-
I'll say it.
Get
Yeah,
rid of
it's
the trees
working.
so we can put more
Thank
movement
you.
on set, right?
Yeah, exactly. Alright, hopefully this will be short and sweet. I think John came in April.
Yes.
And you guys all have, yes, the letter from you that she sent last week.
Yeah, I only have a copy, but basically, we're ready to make some decisions so we can do the final plan. Construction is slated for the spring of 2026. We just got the NEPA review through.
Oh, I have it.
You have it.
And now, basically, we gotta talk trees. So there's, I think, 5 maple trees? Are they maple trees? What are they?
One's a pine tree.
Well, the pine tree is technically outside of the project right of way. So let's do the pine tree first. If the town wants the pine tree down, that's gonna be at the town's.
I'm a tree lover, Abby. I wouldn't
Expense.
want any of them down.
If you decide to keep the tree, then it will be the town's responsibility to make sure it's just out of the sidewalk. So there's the pine tree is one decision that I guess you need to make, and then whatever the other trees are.
I think your email said that none of them were in the right of
We have a
Nope,
picture of
the
it.
pine tree is not in the right of
No,
way.
we did
The
at
other
the
ones
last
are
meeting.
in
The
the
other ones are.
project.
Abby
Huh?
might have.
The other ones are.
Do you have pictures from the last?
No.
So if the maple trees are in the right of way, how come
The pine tree sets back a little bit, just enough further.
Right, but how come the maple trees aren't part of the project where they get taken down at the grant expense?
They are, the pine tree is the only one that
Oh, I think I
is
misread
responsible for it.
read the paper then, because I thought it said that none of them
Oh.
qualified for
No, the
grant
pine tree.
expense.
The
So this pine
is
tree-
the town's expense, the rest of them are in the project area.
So these little maple trees,
That would be cheap to take them down.
But here's the thing,
can
we
you
can
just,
take them
can you
down,
just move
and then we can work
back?
with you guys to replant
That's-
a
that would
different
work,
tree,
too.
because talking with
Could you just replant them
Sierra,
back 8-10 feet?
talking with Sierra, it's not, VHB is our engineer for this,
What does that mean?
it's the engineering company.
VHB.
Yep,
No,
It's-
VNK.
it's not likely that the trees are gonna survive the
Right.
construction.
Yeah.
Because of the way the roots fall.
Is there 2 maple? No, there's
No,
more.
there's
than-
at least three or four.
It goes all the way to the parking lot?
They go to the
Yes.
corner. Here,
Okay.
I'm gonna go right here, right there. Maybe it was right.
So when you pose the question, would the town be willing to remove those trees? You didn't mean that we would be taking them down.
Correct.
You just said,
They're
you would just
technically
like us
your
to nod and
trees.
say, yes, please take them down at your expense.
My recommendation would be to definitely remove the smaller trees, and she did also send, there's a tree fund that you can actually apply for funding, and I'm happy to assist in that, since this is one of our projects that's directly kind of
Would they,
impacting that.
would they basically, you just cut them out and then replant a different tree off
little
the
bit further
sidewalk? Like
Yeah, we can figure out
the
placing it
different,
with you
a
guys.
different type of a tree that isn't, you know, the purple leaves or whatever, you know, different,
You
something
could
aesthetically.
probably decide whatever type of tree you wanted to place back.
I think that'd be the easiest thing, cause you go try to replant these trees there,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
pull them up and,
And they talked with the state arborist, I mean, there were some remediation that they could attempt to try to save them, but the outcome is still, it would be honestly a lot
power
of
lines
money
right over that?
wouldn't be
No,
Yeah.
power's on the other
other
side.
side, isn't it?
Yep, yep. You have to move that light there, there's a light too, right on that corner there.
I don't think so, I think we're gonna come right in the front side of it.
Yep.
We're
There's-
connecting to wherever the
Oh,
the sidewalk comes around the park and ride.
there's 4 of them, so there's
Ask
maple,
Ed
pine,
today,
Right.
email him.
maple, pine, and 3 maple.
He had heard from the attorneys about,
Have
a good
night, about
enjoy.
sand and salt shed, and we haven't heard that yet, okay.
The other option was decreasing the grass buffer, but we prefer not to do that, just plowing wise and safety wise, especially being right there on that stretch of road. But if you're good with the maples coming down, and then how do you wanna proceed with the pine tree?
We'll take it down ourselves.
Why do we need to take that tree down?
Fine,
You and I
taking
have
it
been
down.
fighting about that tree for a year.
He's wanted that tree down since we
He
first started
has.
talking about this
And
project.
I keep saying, save the tree, save the tree.
I'm okay with taking it down 2 feet.
Oh my God, what's wrong with you people? Why do you hate trees?
I know, it's
But
just-
if they're
We
gonna,
can replace
if you have 4 maple
Yeah.
trees that you take out, you can replace 4 different type trees.
Well, I'm fine with the maples because they have to go because they're in the right of way, but I'm not okay with the pine tree. It's not
But
in
the thing
anybody's
is that at some
way.
point in time, it's gonna have to go, so it's like, get it over with, and let's move on. The other thing is that if we go back through and we replant trees, according to this,
Where
it's
is
our
it?
responsibility to maintain those trees.
Well, it's because
There's
we all
another
know
thought
that.
there, finish it, I
Yeah.
can see the wheels spinning.
On what side of the sidewalk? And then the
On
other,
the trees, what side
Yeah.
is that, they're gonna be on the back side between the armory and the sidewalk, where they are now, just probably a little bit further back.
Just put them
Just-
closer to the skating rink so it gets a
Yeah.
little more privacy.
and then from there, the buffer zone thing that you're talking about with the sidewalk and the road, is that any different than what we've got for a buffer zone over here at McDonald's?
I don't know honestly what the, I haven't looked.
Because that's pretty silly. I still want that sidewalk to buffer zone is.
I honestly, Pierre, I couldn't tell you what that one is. I have been very hands off on that project and honestly haven't closely looked. I haven't been up this way much except for today.
I haven't
So-
looked at it. What
I
are you
know-
talking about, 2 feet, 10 feet?
This one's not very big, I don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's right up to the
Yeah,
highway?
I mean, it's one of those of it's,
If you would like to call Du Bois and King up about that design, be my guest.
Oh, Lord.
But
no, but
I don't know what to
it's
tell you.
just one of those things that if we take a look at this, the expense of sending the snowplow to go up here and to plow that little piece all the time.
I'm
Is-
sure our
is-
crew would agree with you because that's why we would like to keep the 5-foot buffer on Pearl Street because of plowing and when they go through and plow the roads and then it just pushes it all into the sidewalk. Kenny and I have had that conversation.
Bingo.
Kicking it back and forth?
Yeah.
We're in the snow out.
Yeah.
Alright, so,
Okay.
Final decision on the pine tree.
So we're good with the maples, they gotta go,
Yep.
and then they'll get replanted.
I will look into, she sent me, it's the community tree fund. It looks pretty straightforward. I did look into it, or just kind of clicked on the link to go into it. It looks pretty straightforward to apply. So I'll take a look at that a little bit more and see what that entails and maybe get an estimate on 4 or 5, basic tree prices to give you guys an idea. And then, like I said, I'm happy to do a little bit of the legwork since our project is directly kind of impacting this decision.
So will we have to pay for any of these, or is it fully funded?
I believe we will, if we look into this community tree fund, I believe it'll completely fund the new trees.
Do you know what the size of the replacement trees are? Are they?
Foot and a half?
I don't think so. When I looked at it, I think it's pretty open to whatever you want to place back, but I'll definitely, let me do a little bit more research, cause it's been a little
Yeah, 'cause
while.
if
It was
they
like
can-
April and I don't remember
if they
yesterday,
can
so
show us some different selections to
Yeah.
to look at.
I can absolutely do that.
Spruce up the armory,
Right.
something vibrant looking.
Maybe you can get more than just replacing the floor and kind of do landscaping in the front, so.
It'd be nicer located back further away from the road.
Cover the fence.
Yeah,
Okay,
pine tree,
I'm gonna guess
It's
if you
gonna-
had somebody come in and take it down, you're probably looking 2,000-3,000.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yep.
I
We've
can
had,
keep it trimmed for cheaper than that.
we've had similar sized pine trees that we've had a contract
Wow.
out, and I wanna say it was between 2,000 to 3,000.
I think it's fire department. I think it's fire department training.
If you call Alan, he might be willing, cause he loves cutting trees down, but no.
Cut them, throw them in a dump truck and haul it off.
So if you decide to take that down, I guess I just need to know what the decision is so they can figure it out in the design.
When, yeah, we'll have to know when it has to be taken down.
By the end of this year, I believe that the fall would probably be the best. I can confirm that and send a follow-up email. So they're not actually
When
starting.
the leaves are off the pine trees.
Billy Joe, you'll have to go on vacation.
The leaves don't come off pine trees.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
They just need to know with working for the final plan, I guess, what the game plan is, and then I can get you a better timeline. But I know the hope is to start construction right off in the spring of 26, which kills me that it's taking this long.
Yeah, that's so
Engineering
crazy.
to death.
I wonder if they would, if we're doing the tree planting, if they would do that stump removal afterwards. Cause it would be a stump.
You don't wanna pull what John wanted us to do and, get a carving or something out of the tree instead of.
Actually, that would be really,
Then you'd still have part of your tree.
Yeah.
right. Yes.
But a pine tree is pretty flimsy, and I don't think it's gonna last very long.
Just
Not
take a
too
little
sturdy.
log out of it and send it to Charlie up the road there and cut a few boards out and just
There you
say, town clerk, treasurer."
There you go, you make a new
Kinda
sign.
cool.
It's always there.
Yeah, good idea,
I
Larry.
know a guy with a sawmill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a totem pole out of it.
Now totem pole.
Have you been talking to John? Did you hear about the whole fiasco with those 2 trees left at 17 where the red brick house
Oh, I
was?
wondered what you guys were gonna
He
do with
would-
those.
legitimately wanted to have
I think
like
that would
a
be great.
carving, and we're all like, no, take them
Why?
down. And even the board was like, no, take them down. And he dragged his feet and dragged his feet.
They are down though, aren't they?
One is Cold Hollow Career Center was supposed to take the other one down, and they did. They came and took the wood that was already down, but they never came back in.
Maybe it's a sign. Maybe
Cut
you
it.
should do something with that.
No, I'm pretty sure it's
Coming
in the way and it's coming down.
Hot there.
It
is
They're
hot
all
in here.
I'm
here.
sticking
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, so pine tree.
I'll go with whatever everybody decides. I'm good either way.
We'll
It'll
make
be-
it go away.
It'll be removed by November.
Sorry, Billy Joe.
We'll just take a tree limb
I
a week,
second.
couple of weeks only.
Super.
It
That
pains
is-
us.
Pierre's gonna replant a new pine tree.
There you go. You get a row. Go for a whole row.
Two pine trees.
Super. Alright, and again, I'm hoping I'll keep you guys in the loop as we get closer to construction and kind of what the final design looks like. Either John or myself can come back this fall when we have that or email a copy of it, just to keep you guys in the loop. I think the next step is do the final drawing and then they'll probably be in touch anyway because of right away, because the town owns the armory lot. So I think it's just you guys and, well, then
Well, you said you were in your
house.
right of way though,
Mhm.
so they
They
need
still,
to
they
be-
still go through the process even though that's what we were hoping, but they still will go out, and then there's the Yale House. That's
Oh,
right
right,
there for
yeah, I
it,
don't know where it is.
so,
So we don't have anything set up for a joint meeting at this point, right?
not that I'm aware of.
Well, I mean, I'm just wondering, like, I mean, this may not be the time, but like the Bridge 50, like, that's
Put
looking.
that to bed, shush.
Well, I mean, I drove by it the other day and I'm like,
The
this
joints are an issue.
is really
You should stare and
scary.
hear the trucks come across.
Anyway, yeah, I just didn't know if we had anything on the, I couldn't remember if like towards the end of fall or whatever.
It might be, we at least need to have a connection on this Act 250
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
So it might
Yeah, 'cause
our
that's
meetings-
coming in
Our meetings
September.
fall after you guys, so we may wanna think about either a special meeting, even if it's on our end, to hold it to decide to let you know before your meeting, cause we're the 1 month meeting.
Yeah, that's
So
what
like
we're,
meeting a month,
we're doing that
excuse me,
until October.
Same with us, budget season, I already told them it's not gonna be possible to just do one meeting. And we've got 2 relatively new people on the board tomorrow
Who's the
night.
second
Two?
new member?
I think
Jason
that
Longway,
David is still.
David
relatively-
Jarvis,
Oh.
David
oh,
what?
David Jarvis is
David
still
Jarvis.
considered relatively new, cause he just got
Oh.
on.
in March.
oh, okay.
And then Jason Longway tomorrow night will be his first meeting. So,
And
Jason
your
Longway?
chair is
Morgo's
Eli
wife.
and
He works
your
for
vice
Owens.
chair, do you have a vice chair?
You don't know
not
him?
yet,
No.
most likely it'll stay Heather, is my
Heather's.
assumption.
He's in the
Um,
service, he does,
But we haven't had a full board
Right,
the last couple meetings, so we kind of
makes
postponed
sense. Yeah.
that.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Yeah, we ought to consider that with them.
Maybe I can
You
talk
got
to
a
you
few froggies?
Wednesday, after you've had your meeting is tomorrow night.
Correct.
And then we can maybe chat about a potential couple dates.
Do you go to the tomorrow night's meeting?
Yes. And I love the meetings,
Okay.
whether I'm not.
So I have one Wednesday night.
I used to plan my vacations really good and missed out a couple in the summer.
what?
Now we did away with that
For
second
once a
meeting.
month, they come pretty quick. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, oh, once a month, but.
Well, I think
it's
my
like,
hardest
oh.
thing is John's like, what do you have for the agenda? So I send him things and then I get home. and more. Hey, we can modify.
That's true, yeah,
But that's usually what I end up doing. But okay.
alright,
Well, thank you very much.
thank you.
Painless.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'll keep you in the loop when we get more of an idea on final plans and either come back or send them to you if you have any questions. But
Okay.
in theory, it should be pretty straightforward.
Awesome. Thanks for doing that grant too.
Thanks.
Yes, I will send the information on, get a little more of the specifics for that community tree fund, and then we can go from there. Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good night,
Thank you.
enjoy the weather.
Yes. A little cooler. with-
I was gonna say.
Bond. That's a quick one, right?
Yep.
Ooh. Oh, we had more that we added. Oh.
So we wanna retain it? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's just an annual thing, I think we gotta,
Yeah.
Alright, so I'll move that
oh, I didn't see that stack of stuff.
we retain,
Yeah.
Von Como as our,
Was it
Tax
tax?
sale attorney
tax sale attorney
for 25.
for year 2020-25.
I second.
Been moved and seconded to retain Vaughn for tax sale attorney for 25. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Alright,
Alright,
Any opposed, nay?
hey, no,
Passes. Alright.
Boy.
you gotta let her know who made the motions and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else that,
Pierre made
It's
the
just-
motion, Jessica seconded the motion for Von Como,
Oh, okay.
unanimous approval.
I know we keep kind of the police department thing, I was wondering about what everybody's thoughts were on it.
Oh. That should be in an executive.
Should it be? Probably.
It's
Just,
contract talks and,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't wanna say, cause it is contracty stuff.
Is that for tonight or the next meeting?
no, tonight it's on the agenda for
Yeah, I
tonight.
mean-
For tonight, so that probably ought to be an executive.
Alright, I'll make a motion to go into executive for contract policing issues.
I'll second.
Oh my gosh, it's
Been moved and
It's so
seconded,
hot here.
go into
It's
executive.
melting.
Any
Really
discussion?
nice.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
alright,
Any opposed? We are in executive at 8:39.